On this day in history, we remember the remarkable individuals who shaped our world. Welcome to Who Died Today in History, where we honor their legacies. From artists to leaders, their impact lives on. If you find their stories meaningful, like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay connected. George Wendt, the beloved actor best known for his portrayal of Norm Peterson on the iconic sitcom Cheers, passed away peacefully in his sleep at his Los Angeles home on May 20, 2025, at the age of 76. His death coincided poignantly with the 32nd anniversary of the Cheers series finale, a serendipitous alignment that underscores the enduring legacy of both the character and the actor. Wendt's passing marks the end of an era in television history. As Norm, the affable bar regular whose entrance was always met with a chorus of "Norm" from fellow patrons, Wendt became a symbol of comfort and familiarity in American households. His character's wit and warmth resonated with audiences, earning him 6 consecutive Emmy nominations and solidifying his place in pop culture. Beyond Cheers, Wendt's career spanned various mediums, including film, theater, and television. He appeared in movies like Fletch and Forever Young, and graced the stage in productions such as Broadway's Hairspray. His versatility as an actor showcased his ability to connect with audiences across genres and generations. The immediate aftermath of Wendt's death saw an outpouring of tributes from fans and colleagues alike, reflecting on his contributions to the entertainment industry and the joy he brought to many. His passing serves as a reminder of the impact that television and its characters can have on shaping cultural identity and collective memory. In contemplating Wendt's legacy, we are reminded of the human desire to find connection and familiarity, often through the characters we invite into our lives via screens. Figures like Norm Peterson become more than just fictional personas. They become companions in our daily routines, offering solace and laughter. As we commemorate George Wendt, we do so by revisiting the episodes that brought us joy, sharing stories of his performances, and acknowledging the warmth he brought into our lives. Through these acts of remembrance, we ensure that his contributions to the arts continue to resonate, affirming the enduring power of storytelling and the indelible mark left by those who master it. Ed Ames, the velvety-voiced baritone best known for his work as a member of the Ames Brothers and for his role as Mingo on the television series Daniel Boone, passed away from natural causes on May 21, 2023, at the age of 95. His death marked the quiet end of a long and fruitful life that bridged the golden age of television, the heyday of vocal pop quartets, and the complex intersections of ethnicity, identity, and representation in American entertainment. Born Edmund Dante Urich to Jewish immigrant parents, Ames's journey into American popular culture reflected the evolving values of mid-20th century America. As part of the Ames Brothers, he helped shape the soundscape of post-war optimism, where tight harmonies and wholesome personas were celebrated. Later in his solo career and on television, he took on roles that challenged and sometimes conformed to the racial tropes of the time. His portrayal of Mingo, a highly educated Cherokee with Scottish ancestry, was progressive for its era, yet still emblematic of Hollywood's tendency to cast white actors in native roles. His death in the 2020s rekindled conversations about cultural portrayal, reminding audiences of both progress and lingering gaps in media representation. The immediate aftermath of his death brought a wave of nostalgic tributes, especially highlighting his infamous appearance on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, where a tomahawk throw landed with such accuracy and comedic flair that it became one of the show's most replayed clips. This singular moment, though lighthearted, symbolized the enduring charm of live television and the performative intimacy that stars like Ames cultivated with audiences. His passing did not dramatically shift the trajectory of cultural history, but it did serve as a reflective pause especially for older generations, to consider the bygone era of variety shows, family-friendly programming, and the archetype of the dignified crooner. In remembering Ames, fans engage with a broader narrative of how entertainers shaped the moral and aesthetic tone of their time. Ed Ames is immortalized through recordings, reruns, and digital tributes. His voice, rich and resonant, remains a testament to a time when clarity of tone and emotional delivery held sway in popular music. His legacy, while not radical, is a gentle echo of a more earnest, performative past, proof that sometimes cultural memory is preserved not in seismic shifts, but in warm familiarity. Clint Walker, the towering actor best known for his role as Cheyenne Bodie in the groundbreaking Western television series Cheyenne, died of congestive heart failure on May 21, 2018, at the age of 90. His death, peaceful and natural, came in an era when Hollywood was increasingly reflecting on its golden age and the archetypes that once shaped the American screen. Walker's passing marked not just the end of a life, but the slow sunset of a cultural moment dominated by stoic, larger-than-life cowboys and frontier justice. Walker epitomized the idealized masculinity of the 1950s and 1960s, a time when American audiences, grappling with Cold War anxieties and social shifts, found comfort in clear-cut heroes who stood alone against chaos. As Cheyenne, he portrayed a character of few words and unwavering moral code, reflecting the era's yearning for stability and strength. His imposing 6'6" frame and deep voice weren't just casting choices, they were symbolic of the strength and dependability Americans longed for during tumultuous times. The immediate consequence of his death was a wave of tributes from fans and colleagues who recognized him as a pioneer in bringing the Western genre to television. Cheyenne was the first hour-long Western on TV, and it helped pave the way for countless others. Though his star faded in later decades, his death reignited interest in the formative years of television and the cultural role those Westerns played in shaping American identity. Walker's legend was not built on controversy or tragedy, but on the solid ground of consistent, heroic portrayal. His near-death experience in 1971, when he survived a ski pole piercing his heart, is often remembered as a testament to his real-life resilience, further blurring the lines between actor and hero. His passing did not shift history's course, but reinforced the mythos of the Western hero: stoic, strong, and solitary. In reflecting on Clint Walker's death, we see how certain figures become emblematic of cultural ideals. Their mortality prompts not just mourning, but reevaluation of the values they represented. Through syndication, fan conventions, and nostalgic retrospectives, Walker is preserved in memory, not as a complex anti-hero, but as a reminder of a time when simplicity and strength defined the screen. His legacy rides on, like the lonesome cowboy fading into the sunset. Oliver Williamson, a Nobel Prize-winning economist, passed away from natural causes on May 21, 2020, at the age of 87. His death marked the end of a profoundly influential academic career that reshaped the way economists and policymakers understand institutions, organizations, and market behavior. At a time when global economic systems were under increasing scrutiny, Williamson's passing served as a reminder of the critical role intellectuals play in interpreting and shaping the structures that govern modern life. Williamson's work was most noted for developing the theory of transaction cost economics. His ideas challenged the prevailing notion of markets as frictionless mechanisms, instead emphasizing the costs associated with negotiating, monitoring, and enforcing contracts. This shift reflected the growing complexities of the post-industrial global economy, where relationships between firms, governments, and individuals could no longer be reduced to simple supply and demand models. His theories gained widespread application, influencing everything from corporate governance to antitrust policy, and his insights became even more vital as institutions grappled with economic uncertainty in the 21st century. The immediate consequence of his death was a wave of recognition and reflection within academic and policy circles. Though Williamson had long since retired from teaching, his intellectual legacy continued to shape economics, law, and business theory. Scholars revisited his foundational texts, and tributes highlighted his role in bridging economics with the real-world operations of organizations. His passing did not create the sudden shock of a political assassination or tragic accident, but instead acted as a moment of scholarly introspection and gratitude. Williamson's death underscores how the intellectual contributions of a quiet thinker can reverberate just as powerfully as the deeds of public figures. It reflects an era increasingly reliant on interdisciplinary understanding to solve complex problems: economic, social, and institutional. In a world where the boundaries between public and private, firm and market, are continually blurring, Williamson's legacy provides a crucial framework for navigating such challenges. We commemorate figures like Williamson through continued application of their work, inclusion in academic curricula, and recognition through awards and citations. His name lives on, not in statues or spectacles, but in the evolving ideas that inform how we structure our economic lives. In death, as in life, Oliver Williamson quietly shaped how we understand the power and the limits of institutions in human society. Sir John Gilgood, one of the greatest classical actors of the 20th century, died of natural causes at the age of 96 on May 21, 2000, at his home near Aylesbury, England. His death marked the end of an era in British theatre and film, as Gilgood embodied the refined elegance and intellectual rigor of a generation steeped in Shakespearean tradition. A man of both stage and screen, his career spanned more than 8 decades, encompassing not only dramatic performance, but also directing, writing, and voice work that influenced generations of actors. The circumstances of Gilgood's passing, peaceful and dignified, mirrored the poised and thoughtful manner that characterized his life. Unlike the dramatic or violent ends that often punctuate historical narratives, Gilgood's death was a quiet exit, befitting a life dedicated to the art of language and interpretation. In an age increasingly focused on mass media spectacle, his passing reminded the world of the enduring power of theatrical subtlety and classical training. His career was rooted in a cultural era that valued the preservation of high art, particularly through institutions like the Royal Shakespeare Company and London's West End. The immediate consequence of his death was a widespread outpouring of tributes from the global arts community. Fellow actors, playwrights, and directors praised his unmatched ability to bring Shakespearean verse to life with clarity and emotional depth. Many highlighted his work alongside contemporaries Laurence Olivier and Ralph Richardson, forming a trio that defined British acting for much of the 20th century. His death, while expected due to his age, closed a chapter in classical theater history, pushing forward the conversation about preserving traditional dramatic arts in a rapidly modernizing entertainment world. Gilgood's legacy endures not only through his numerous recordings and films, but also in the generations of performers he influenced. His voice, distinct and resonant, is immortalized in roles ranging from King Lear to his Academy Award-winning turn in Arthur. Statues, theaters named in his honor, and documentaries serve as testaments to his lifelong contribution. In remembering John Gilgood, we are reminded of humanity's yearning to find permanence in voice, expression, and story. His death, quiet though it was, illuminates the immortal nature of artistry and the human need to preserve greatness, not through conquest or conflict, but through the enduring resonance of performance. Katherine Dunham, an influential dancer, choreographer, and anthropologist, passed away from natural causes on May 21, 2006, at the age of 96 in New York City. Her death marked the end of a life devoted to both the stage and the struggle for social justice. As one of the most important black female artists of the 20th century, Dunham's passing was not just the loss of a performer, but of a visionary who helped redefine the role of dance in cultural and political discourse. Dunham's death occurred quietly, far from the fanfare that often accompanies more mainstream celebrities, yet it reflected the values of her generation: commitment to craft, community, and conscience. Living through the Great Depression, World War II, the Civil Rights Movement, and into the new millennium, she had witnessed and shaped nearly a century of transformation in American society. Her blend of traditional Caribbean and African dance with modern choreography not only broke artistic boundaries, but also served as a powerful form of cultural affirmation during a time of systemic racial oppression. The immediate response to her death was one of reverent remembrance in the artistic and academic communities. Tributes poured in from dancers, historians, and civil rights activists who recognized her as a pioneer. Her work had laid the foundation for generations of black performers and choreographers, and her influence could be felt across disciplines, from Alvin Ailey's emotionally charged pieces to Maya Angelou's poetic evocations of heritage and identity. Dunham's death amplified her legend, reminding the world of her unique role as both artist and activist. She had once famously staged a hunger strike to protest the treatment of Haitian refugees, embodying a rare blend of creative expression and moral conviction. In this way, her death mirrored her life's mission to elevate the dignity of marginalized cultures and use art as a tool for liberation. Katherine Dunham is immortalized not only in museums and institutions bearing her name, but in the living movements of dancers who trace her steps. Through archives, biographies, choreography, and ongoing performances of her work, she remains a vibrant presence. Her death highlights humanity's desire to remember those who challenge injustice and expand cultural consciousness, not through monuments of stone, but through legacies of movement, rhythm, and resistance. Douglas Fowley, a prolific American character actor best remembered for his role as the irritable film director in Singin' in the Rain, died of natural causes on May 21, 1998, in Woodland Hills, California. He was 86. His passing marked the quiet end of a long and varied career that spanned over 5 decades, reflecting the enduring but often unsung contributions of Hollywood's supporting players. Fowley's death was not met with widespread public mourning or media spectacle, but it did draw attention from film historians and classic cinema enthusiasts who recognized his distinctive presence in over 200 films. His ability to convincingly inhabit a range of roles, from grizzled cowboys to fast-talking crooks, epitomized the versatility demanded of mid-century studio actors, particularly during the golden age of Hollywood, when typecasting was both a burden and a path to longevity. The circumstances of his death, peaceful and in obscurity, stand in contrast to the vibrant energy he brought to the screen. It reflected a broader challenge faced by many character actors of his era. Fame was fleeting, and stardom was reserved for the leading faces, even if the true lifeblood of film rested in the textured performances of those in the margins. Fowley's career highlighted the value of craftsmanship in an industry increasingly dominated by celebrity culture. While his death did not shift the trajectory of Hollywood, it did invite a reappraisal of the actors who helped define film classics without ever becoming household names. His role in Singin' in the Rain, where he played a director struggling through the transition from silent films to talkies, was itself a commentary on an evolving entertainment industry, a challenge that mirrored real historical shifts in 1920s cinema. That performance, in particular, has endured as a fan favorite and has ensured Fley a lasting legacy within the annals of film history. Douglas Fley's life and death remind us of how cultural memory often elevates those who serve as symbols of broader historical transitions. We immortalize such figures through retrospectives, film preservation efforts, and the rediscovery of classic cinema. Though he passed without fanfare, Fley's legacy endures, etched not in marble, but in celluloid, laughter, and the timeless rhythm of movie magic. Vanessa Brown, a versatile actress, writer, and intellect of mid-20th century America, passed away on May 21, 1999, in Woodland Hills, California, from natural causes. She was 71. Best known for her roles in films such as The Ghost and Mrs. Muir, 1947, and her stint as the original female lead in The 7-Year Itch on Broadway, Brown's death marked the quiet end of a career that bridged classical Hollywood glamour and post-war intellectual sophistication. Born in Vienna as Smilla Brind, Brown escaped Nazi-occupied Austria with her family, an early experience that shaped her lifelong commitment to the arts and learning. Her death in relative obscurity reflected a cultural shift. Hollywood's golden age had long faded, and many of its once celebrated figures had been relegated to the footnotes of entertainment history. Yet, Brown's life symbolized an era in which intelligence and beauty were not mutually exclusive in female stars. Fluent in multiple languages and a former child prodigy, she defied the stereotype of the ornamental starlet by participating in radio quiz shows like Quiz Kids and authoring articles on serious subjects. The immediate consequences of her passing were subdued, but in niche circles, particularly among classic film aficionados and historians of stage and screen, there was a renewed appreciation for her contributions. Her death invited reflection on the broader pattern of brilliant women in early Hollywood whose talents were often underused or overshadowed. Her departure echoed the challenges faced by many mid-century women, balancing intellect, artistic ambition, and public image in an industry that often demanded compromise. While Brown did not die in a moment of political intrigue or public spectacle, her legacy endures through the resilience and quiet depth of her roles. In a cultural landscape increasingly fascinated with surface fame, Brown's story reminds us that legacy can stem not only from notoriety, but also from integrity and quiet excellence. Vanessa Brown's life and death speak to humanity's deeper yearning to be remembered not merely for fame, but for substance. We immortalize figures like her through film preservation, biographies, and retrospectives that lift them from the shadows of cinematic history. In honoring such lives, we preserve the multifaceted stories of those who shaped art and culture, not with noise, but with enduring grace. Alejandro Ray, the Argentine-American actor best remembered for his role as the charming, progressive Father Carlos on the 1960s sitcom The Flying Nun, died on May 21, 1987, in Los Angeles, California. His death from lung cancer at the age of 57 marked the premature end of a career that bridged cultures and challenged traditional casting in American television. Ray's passing, from a disease long linked to smoking and the era's casual acceptance of tobacco, was reflective of a broader societal shift. The 1980s saw growing public health awareness and a re-evaluation of lifestyle habits glamorized in earlier decades. As a prominent figure who came to prominence during the golden age of television, Ray's death also symbolized the fading of a more innocent, idealistic vision of pop culture. His role as a priest in The Flying Nun was particularly emblematic of a time when entertainment still strove to blend morality with humor, and when Latin American actors were often limited to highly specific, exoticized roles. Despite the limitations placed on Latino actors in Hollywood at the time, Ray stood out for his sophistication, fluency in multiple languages, and ability to transcend typecasting. His death didn't send shockwaves through the industry, but it quietly signaled the loss of one of early television's subtle pioneers of multicultural representation. In the years following his passing, recognition of the barriers he helped chip away at grew stronger as more actors of Latin American heritage rose to prominence and diversified their roles beyond outdated stereotypes. Though not a household name by the time of his death, Ray's legacy has been preserved in the warm nostalgia for classic television and through the evolving lens of cultural representation. His passing offers a window into how mortality intersects with fame, how some stars burn brightly, then fade, only to be rediscovered and revalued by future generations seeking authenticity and inclusivity in their media history. We remember figures like Alejandro Ray not just through reruns or tribute articles, but through the ongoing effort to tell richer, more inclusive stories. His life and death underscore the power of memory in shaping our cultural canon, how even quieter departures can leave enduring echoes in the halls of entertainment and identity.